What's up, everyone? This is Jessica Marino with the Equip Show, where we are highlighting nonprofits and all the amazing work that they do in the community. I have a special guest with me today, AT from OutNebraska. How are you doing?
Really great.
Good. Thank you for joining me. So AT is the interim executive director over there, and they are going to tell us all about the mission, how they got involved, and how we can get involved to support them. So let's start off, and if you could, just tell us what OutNebraska is and what you guys do over there.
Thank you so much, Jessica, first of all, for inviting and recognizing OutNebraska on this awesome podcast that supports the nonprofits. But OutNebraska officially works to empower, celebrate, and cultivate thriving queer and transgender communities across Nebraska. We believe that this state is for all of us.
Yes, which it totally is.
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. So how did you start in this role? How did you get to where you are?
So I started on the board of OutNebraska, actually, in 2022. Okay. Abby Swatsworth, who was executive director for many years, asked me, would you serve on our board? And I was chief diversity officer at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and our chancellor was encouraging, the executive officer should be on boards, so I said
why
yes.
Not, right?
And that was really great. I became the treasurer on the board. And then we're now in a transition.
Okay.
That's why my title is interim executive director. I was, as I said, treasurer on the board. And as our founding executive director stepped down, I stepped into this interim role while we search for the new executive director.
Awesome. I love that. And so tell us what you did before when you joined the board. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I got a little sneak peek before we started the show. I'm excited.
Well, I've been in higher education, actually, all of my career before this.
Okay.
And so I was chief diversity officer at UNO, where I was also a professor of history and a professor of fine arts, media, and communication.
Fun.
And I also have been a chief diversity officer at several other universities before that. So I've always worked in the diversity space.
Yeah.
Mostly on the academic side.
Okay.
But those roles became much more administrative, so my career sort of moves up the,
just naturally,
the hierarchy as people decided, a diversity officer should be a dean, a diversity officer should be a vice president, a diversity officer, so that's sort of my history. But it really started when I was first a brand new faculty member and helped chair the Multicultural Affairs Advisory Group at my first faculty appointment at Union College in New York.
In New York?
Yeah.
Is that where you're originally from?
No, I'm originally from southwestern Michigan, but I did move here to Nebraska from upstate New York. I was at Cornell University in upstate.
Oh my gosh. Okay. When did you get to Nebraska?
22.
22. Okay, so it's a little late, but welcome to Nebraska.
Thank you.
I'm a little behind on it, but it's okay. So tell us about some of the programs and initiatives that are at OutNebraska.
So we really think about OutNebraska in a year is in 3 seasons.
Okay.
So we're an advocacy organization. So we work a lot with the legislature, but also with other levels of government in Nebraska, counties, municipalities, but mostly state level.
Okay.
And so typically January till, this is the short session, so we're about to finish the legislative session this year. Some years the session goes into June.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so there's the legislative session, and then we're really concentrated on bills, talking to senators, all of that. And then we have Pride season, in the middle of the year.
The fun season.
Mostly June, but of course Omaha, it's July. And, so
we'll do both months just for fun.
And OutNebraska actually participates in and helps support 18 different prides all across Nebraska.
Wow, awesome.
And we like to say that because I think there's people in Nebraska that number surprises them. And we're like, there's a pride in Scottsbluff, there's a pride in Norfolk, there's a pride in Aurora, there's a pride in Winnebago, these.
That's awesome.
And so some are administered by volunteers, some by very organized groups, Star City Pride or Heartland Pride, but there's others that are, a set of volunteers get together every year. And so it's helpful to have a stable organization like OutNebraska. We can help with funding, we can help, make sure it happens, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Pride season, we're not only establishing those relationships, and part of that is so that we can be authentic advocates across Nebraska. You know, it's like Absolutely. We're not just making up what we think Nebraskans think. We're getting out across Nebraska. And, you know, I was just participating in the board meeting by invitation in Panhandle Equality in Scotts Bluff.
Oh, okay.
So we're really coordinating, and people have a sense, this is what we'd like to see, or how we we can support one another.
Oh, good. So we try to community feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we try to thread together, the many organizations around the state under this umbrella of advocacy.
Okay.
And then finally, we think of the last part of the year as our events part of the year.
Okay.
So OutNebraska actually sponsors the Prairie Pride Film Festival.
Ooh, okay.
And this year will be the 15th Prairie Pride.
Awesome.
So, and film festivals are great for what we do because they fulfill all three of those things: advocate, celebrate, educate. And I think sometimes people don't realize, so some people use a very long acronym. We sometimes shorten it to queer communities with an S, but other times you see LGBTQIA2S+.
Yes.
What that indicates is this is already a whole set of allies.
Okay.
Because if you're part of some of those groups, you may not know very much about any of the other groups. And so we are all part of what OutNebraska also facilitates is internally. We all have to get to know one another. Yeah. And so I'm a big proponent of, even when we're doing presentations from OutNebraska, it should be done by at least two people, so that the audience or whoever is hearing the presentation sees, oh, right, there's this kind of person and that kind of person. We're all a part of a big alliance.
Yes.
And then
good word for it.
What is wonderful is that there's a whole bunch of organizations around Nebraska that support OutNebraska. So we work closely with the ACLU, the Women's Fund, Planned Parenthood, Rainbow Parents, the
list goes on.
Appleseed, the Nebraska Civic Engagement Table, it's like, oh no, I don't want to overlook somebody. Yes. But it's a big coalition.
Yeah.
And we actually convene an LGBTQ coalition across Nebraska of those other groups that may not have as their central focus queer communities, but they certainly support us, and we're part of their broader sense of agenda or of a really inclusive, great state.
Absolutely.
And so, we, again, try to coordinate messaging and be helpful to one another.
I love that. I love the collaboration that goes into it, because we really are one community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how can we come together? Beautiful. I love it. So tell me a little bit more about the education piece. Like, where are you going out? Who are you teaching?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
So there's a variety of things. One of our programs is called Nebraska Competes, and it's actually an alliance of businesses that are LGBTQIA+ supporting. Okay. And many times those employers or businesses will then turn to us and say, well, we could actually do better. Could we have some training about allyship or about this dimension of the community or about best business practices? And so we offer workshops where businesses could, bring in a training that is provided by OutNebraska. And some of our board members help participate in that kind of training. Fun. So, but also by having the Alliance of Nebraska Competes, we're very active in the chambers of commerce around the state. Okay. Because we recognize increasingly our communities and our constituencies are quite big. Yeah. Because it isn't only the LGBTQIA+ folks. Right. Usually their parents are even more fierce, in their advocacy.
Yeah, they want to be there. Yeah.
And similarly, friends.
As the other community members. Okay.
And recent studies, Gallup did a big poll back in 2023, and Pew Charitable Trust at that time. And we see a huge transformation across generations. Okay. So when I was young, we used to assert, the LGBTQ community is 10% of the population.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you did a public poll, the poll would be like 3-4%. Okay. And we would just say, well, people aren't out. It's not safe.
They don't want to see it. Yep.
Yeah. But then when you reach millennials, who are now getting older, but millennials poll, but millennials do poll at 10%. So we thought, we did it. Everybody's out. Yeah. Gen Z polls at almost 25%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so even we're like, whoa,
Yeah. Jump.
But the big growth, the largest growth is in people saying they're bisexual.
Okay.
Or people saying they're gender queer.
Okay.
So they're not necessarily trans or they're not necessarily gay. However, they've realized and internalized, oh, it is a spectrum. And I recognize I'm not on an absolute side of the spectrum.
Right.
And
somewhere.
Yeah. And so that's really interesting because, of course, that means the momentum, the economic development of Nebraska. These businesses are with us because they're like, we want to make sure,
and that's a big chunk of the population, 25%.
Yeah. So
that's a big population.
Employees, customers, nobody wants to insult other
all
people.
Gotta
so it's
understand.
Just building the skills. So we offer the skills, offer that networking, and as I said, try to connect people across the state. And so offering those kind of workshops, doing the work in the Capitol. So we not only advocate with our own professional lobbyists, we hold a legislative day to, facilitate folks coming to the Capitol, talking about our issues, talking to their senators, gaining those skills to be engaged, and then encouraging people who may be even more interested, like go ahead and run for the school board. If you're upset about people banning books, well, go talk to So giving people the tools to stand up for themselves. Modeling some of that information. We also are in a big network, so the Equality Federation, which is all the state organizations across the country. So we can be in touch with, if something's going on in Iowa, we can immediately talk to Equality Iowa, and
know what's going on all over.
Yeah. And, being here in Omaha, Iowa's across the river, like some of our employees live in Council Bluffs. It's like, so, not OutNebraska's employees, but I just mean figuratively.
Business owners, yeah.
So I think that that kind of staying in touch, providing information, and then providing it in a fun way. So we have volunteer nights where people do work. We have volunteer phone banking. And then for all the Pride celebrations, of course, we do tabling there, but often with local volunteers. So again, it's, I recognize that with our staff, sometimes when people sign up to sit at an OutNebraska table at a book fair or something, for them, they're sort of coming out. I mean, not coming out personally. They may have already talked to their family, but I'm going to sit in public at a table that says OutNebraska on it, and so it's, it's helpful for them.
Yeah,
and I
it's
think,
like a very empowering moment where they're showing them true selves to the public. And to random strangers, And so I think that's where we want our staff to be ready to support folks who are doing that, to be positive, like, it's great you're here, like, and recognize, you might be a little nervous, talking or whatever, but we'll work through it with you and make sure you're comfortable.
We're all on our own journey and steps,
I love that.
And then, it's, again, the broader networking like that helps all of us learn.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know a person like this before. Or, I've always thought X about this element of the community, and now I realize, there's other people who,
there's other people like me or other perspectives I haven't learned, or, there's always someone new to meet. And like you said, everyone's on their own journey. And personally, I love hearing those stories. I want to hear everyone's journey because I know they're different from mine. So what can I learn from yours? And I love that you guys are facilitating a space for that. How do individuals come to you if they maybe need that support? Do they just find you online or?
So our website is just outnebraska.org. So it's pretty easy to find. And for people who are at the level of they're ready to volunteer, they're ready to get involved, the bottom of the webpage, it says quick links, volunteer. Perfect. Of course, another one is donate, but but then we also have educational stuff. So somebody says, I'm worried about this bill, or I'm really excited about this bill. What do I do? So we have a thing or a page on our website called Bill Tracker. So it tells you about a whole set of different bills that we're following in the legislature. And when you click on it, it gives you the background of the bill, what you can do, where's the bill in the process, because the legislature, bills are in committee or they're on the floor or, and,
all over.
Right. And I know the average person isn't, knowing everything
keeping track
about it.
We need a bill tracker.
Right. Yes, exactly. So we try to provide that information for everybody. The same way, a pride tracker, like if people say, well, I live in wherever, how do I, where should I go?
When it's pride,
Yeah. So we were just at the Women's March in the Tri-Cities,
fun.
Kearney and Hastings. And, it was great because it's another.
What, for people watching that maybe have never been to a pride, what are those celebrations like? Because I know they're a ton of fun.
Yeah. Well, there's many facets to a pride celebration. Typically, and not always, there's a parade.
Yep.
And so part of that is just getting out in the streets, joining in. And for example, in the Omaha parade in the middle of July, there's companies that sponsor their employees to be in the parade. So in the parade, you see, there's Union Pacific, there's Mutual of Omaha, these. And the people who march are not exclusively the LGBTQ employees. Many times, the whole company we're proud that we're part of, the gay community
being
or supporting.
Yeah. And
so they march together, and there's no rule like you have to be this person or that person, to be in the parade.
Okay, so, good.
And
inclusive.
Yes. And also typically there's some kind of fair or, set of tables where you can get information about specific services, services for seniors, or what do I do about if I'm a parent, or all those kinds of things. So connecting with different kinds of organizations, or just like I want to be in the River City Mixed Chorus, so
kind of fun.
Yeah, some of it is about artistic or educational, possibilities. So the fair is just a resource fair. Typically, usually there's a food thing of some sort, whether it's a picnic or something like that.
And speaking personally, but who doesn't love food?
Right.
I'm there for food.
Yeah. And then there's a number of pride celebrations that are multi-day.
Yes.
So like Winnebago Two-Spirit, that's a week long.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So and then there'll be different events or days emphasizing different things. Like this is Elders Day, this is Family Day, this is Youth Day.
That's cool.
And that is also true, at Omaha Pride. Like the night before is a youth night.
Yes.
So those, again, not every Pride is the same.
Right. They're all just equally fun.
Yes. But every Pride does feature rainbows.
Yes.
And
that's actually my favorite color, the rainbow.
Right. And my pet peeve is glitter, which because I sure don't want it in my house.
Oh gosh, you could not live with me. I love glitter.
My husband loves glitter, so I do live with you.
I love that.
I'm vacuuming on glitter.
Oh, we would get along. We'll have to do some like glitter craft night or something, just to drive you crazy.
No, thank you.
I love that. Well, I also wanted to see, what kind of upcoming events you have going on.
So, the prides are at different times and different dates.
Yeah.
But those are the biggest events that are coming up.
Okay.
Give to Lincoln Day is coming up.
Yep.
Our office is based in Lincoln, our main office. We also have an office at Omaha for Us. So here in Omaha, the community center here in Omaha. And then the Prairie Pride Film Festival is the last weekend in August.
In August, okay.
So August 29, 30, 28 is the opening night, I think. So and then, as I said, there's a volunteer night every other Wednesday at the Foundry Building in Lincoln. And there's also a phone bank night every other Thursday. So our events and activities, people can join in almost any week.
Yeah, when it's most convenient. Okay.
As well as participate in our advocacy, because you can visit your state senator's office in your district. You don't have to come to Lincoln.
Okay.
Or you can telephone them or send them an email. So So you can take part in our efforts without leaving your home community.
Yes.
And so our website gives a lot of that information of, okay, how do I get involved?
Okay, how to be a good advocate, I would say. Yeah. Oh, awesome.
It's interesting, you just mentioned the word good. So you're reminding me we have a new initiative. It's called Good Sports.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the leagues and the teams, especially in women's sports, that include everybody.
Yes.
And so, our goal, and we've already had a few leagues sign up, roller derby and Omaha women's football and stuff. Because for many years, they've had all women, all girls joining in. Yeah. And so we do, unfortunately, have some folks who think, oh no, this needs to be restricted.
Yeah, and this is a male sport.
Yeah. And so we're saying, no, but this is already, people are included, and we think the public should just know that. And so we're facilitating bringing forward, as well as prominent athletes, here in Nebraska who also say, yeah, of course people should participate. Sporting is good for everyone. And and especially when you're talking about public schools and stuff.
Yes.
We're supposed to offer these opportunities to every child. This is all about everybody being a part of things. And
absolutely.
Some of these efforts come from a big national group somewhere else, and, our whole thing is, look, Nebraskans know best what we like in Nebraska.
Know what we want. Yes. Oh, that's lovely. And I agree. Like, it should be all inclusive, right? Because there might be a young lady that is a phenomenal football player.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we don't know if we don't give her the chance.
Yeah.
And vice versa. There might be an amazing male cheerleader. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I love that you guys are working to get that a little bit more even.
Right.
I would say.
And that, that is true for anybody.
Yeah.
In other words, we don't want any person walking around having other people say, how masculine or feminine are you? Or, you bring up like a boy who wants to do ballet. That's fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
What's the big deal?
Right.
So it's just that stereotyping of gender, and just to say, no, people get to decide who they are, how they want to participate in the world.
Yes.
And their parents can, with children, it's often parents trying to decide. Every once in a while, if there are, a young person is struggling with issues, the parents seek some help.
Yeah.
Professional help, that's a family thing. Like, that's a private thing.
Absolutely.
And nobody else needs to say, I think you should do this, or, or you must blah, 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 or I know who you are. Yeah. It's like, I think I know who I am.
I know myself better than everyone else.
Right.
Yes. Well, I love that you guys are doing that and just, balancing the scale and bringing all this education, because I do think this is a topic that isn't talked about enough yet.
Right.
Like, I know it's getting there, but there's so much education that needs to be put out there, even for myself. Yeah. There may be letters and communities that I don't know about. And I think a big takeaway for me is that we need everyone to stay open-minded enough to learn it.
Yeah.
And that, I imagine, is a hurdle sometimes. But I think community, we have a really good community in Omaha and Lincoln, and I imagine that we're getting there.
Well,
right?
And really all across the state, the entire state, the ethos in Nebraska is very much a live and let live.
Yes.
And people are like, that's not my business. And you're like, you're right. And I don't mean shut people off. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
It's, as you say, let's be open. Let's be curious. There's a whole ton of things I don't know, just because I'm executive director of OutNebraska, And so that curiosity, that openness, and what we don't need is somebody shutting it down.
Absolutely not.
We don't need government to tell us, don't talk about that.
Right.
It's what? Like,
it needs to be talked about, or we'll never learn.
Yeah.
So, no, that's beautiful. I do have one other thing. I heard that you write poetry.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you would share one with us.
Yeah, when I speak publicly, I usually write a poem for the occasion.
Okay.
And so my most recent, obviously, was just this week. It was Transgender Day of Visibility.
Okay.
And the University of Nebraska Lincoln students, they have an organization called Transcend.
Okay.
And had a banquet and invited OutNebraska to speak. I went with my colleague, Tatum Bundy, a trans man who's on our staff. But I did write a poem for them.
I would love it if you would share it with our audience.
Okay, it's called Visibility. Some say that spirit cannot be seen, that we can never see that thing called soul inside. But we are not alone, and not the sole believers in ourselves, but always part of this, the whole, evoked, invoked, instantiated, pride in ownership, yes, owners of ourselves, displayed as me and one with we, yes, midwives to each other born and raised, yes, rising in this coming spring. We want to sing away those doubts, those hooded eyes, and harmonize in shining light that rainbows through the driving rain to soak the mud that's thrown and make it potter's clay and fire the glaze. Yes, glisten in the colors that make our beauty known. Yes, listen in the song embodied in this room. The crafted art on spinning wheel that's shaped just so unique, an art not for the shelf, but ever held up high. The sky, the world, we see it come. We know it will. We know it's you and you and you.
I got chills. I loved it.
Thank you.
My goodness. And your delivery, amazing.
Well,
like I could feel it. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
I hope spoken word isn't dying yet.
If so, we'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that, everyone listening should hear or know about the organization that you want to share that maybe I didn't cover?
I really think, as I said, just as OutNebraska itself is this coalition, we really want to stay deeply connected to grassroots, to many organizations, to be a bridge, an umbrella. I mean, there's many metaphors. And so we are always open to suggestions, new affiliations, new kinds of advocacy, because it takes all of Nebraska to be all of Nebraska.
Yes.
And so we have Instagram and Facebook, there's social media that we incorporate, and if you want to amplify it, that's welcome, of course. But we're also just always looking for new partners, and we want to be a good partner to the state and to all the people in the state.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, for sharing everything that you shared, for educating us a little bit more about all the good work you guys are doing within the state and the communities across Nebraska. And
I just remember, I'm sorry to...
No, go ahead.
But it couldn't be done without a fabulous staff. So,
yes.
There's 6 people professionally full-time and a lot of interns, volunteers that make this all happen.
I love it. I'm going to do my out again.
Yeah.
That way we can cut it out.
Wait.
Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing everything you shared and educating us and the audience about all the work you're doing across Nebraska. We appreciate you and your staff and all the hard hours you guys have put in over the years you've been doing this. Go follow them, their social media, be tagged, get involved, become a partner. Let's advocate and keep Nebraska strong. Thanks again for joining me today.
Thank you so much.